Let me read the first ground to summarize the discussions of the endorser. The first ground for the third impeachment complaint, Vice President Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed the public trust by committing plunder and/or malversation, graft and corruption, and other high crimes in amassing and converting the amount of not less than 500 million pesos from the confidential funds allocated to the office of the Vice President for the years 2022 and 2023.
Yung presentasyon sa complaint na ito nagsimula sa statement of facts. And these are the facts in relation to the specific grounds. And then nagkaroon po ng discussion na tinatahi, linilink yung bakit yung mga facts na yon ay constitutive of impeachable offenses. So, for the guidance of the committee, the complaint sufficiently substantiates 5 general constitutional grounds: culpable violation of the Constitution, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, betrayal of public trust. Pagkatapos naman po, the complaint contains a statement of facts, narration. These factual allegations as laid out are not isolated from the constitutional grounds for impeachment. Rather, several of them are intertwined with, and in some instances, subsumed under the 6 grounds for impeachment alleged in the complaint. So ang aking pong presentation, papakita ko na po kung ano yung mga examples, kung ano yung mga importante mga factual allegations, and then I will link it to the discussion of why they are constitutive of the offense charge as enumerated in the Constitution. So first ground. Ito po yung facts in relation to VP Sara's anomalous disbursements of confidential funds as Vice President and head of the Office of the Vice President. Covered po ito ng paragraphs 20 to 71, pages 4 to 25 of the complaint. Makikita niyo po sa screen yung mga specific examples or specific allegations of facts na nandito po sa complaint. Sa aking pong presentasyon ngayon, I tried to paraphrase these averments para mas naiintindihan. Mga tinagalog ko nga po yung iba para naintindihan. So it's just really an overview of what you see in the screen as constituting the allegations of facts. So sinasabi po, barely months into office, on August 22, 2022, VP Sara requested 250 million in confidential funds from the DBM for the OVP's good governance program, supposedly. That's paragraphs 22 to 23. Only 125 million was approved for release in the last quarter of 2022. That's paragraph 24. Itong 125 million na ito ay in-encash, inilagay sa 4 na traveling bags at dinala sa OVP. That's paragraph 27. Sa utos umano ni VP Sara, iniabot ito kay Colonel Raymond Dante La Chica at ibinigay sa ibang tao. That's under paragraphs 27 and 31. So kasama po yan sa ninalaman ng affidavit ni Ramil Madriaga, which is Annex A. Para mapagtakpan kung saan napunta ang 125 million ayon sa ulat ng OVP, sa loob ng 11 araw, ang perang ito ay na-disburse sa mga safe houses, rewards, supplies, aid, and travel. That's paragraph 38. Nilagdaan ni VP Sarang liquidation report, paragraph 39, Annex B, at pinatotohanan legal ang paggamit ng pondo, paragraph 40, Annex C. Naglabas ang COA ng Audit Observation Memoranda, AOMs, dahil sa kakulangan ng documentary evidence of payments or yung DEPs sa mga disbursements, paragraphs 42 to 44. Nanatili ang deficiencies, kabilang ang questionableng reward payments at paggamit ng pondo para sa ilang items tulad ng tables, chairs, at desktop computers na walang malinaw na kaugnayan sa confidential operations. That's paragraphs 46 to 7. Ang nakakapagduda, ang 158 acknowledgement receipts ay may petsang December 2023, isang taon matapos ang sinasabing disbursement, habang ang iba pa ay walang petsa That's paragraphs 48 to 49. Dahil dito, naglabas ang COA ng Notice of Suspension at Notice of Disallowance na sumasaklaw sa 73,287,000. Paragraphs 51, 53, Annex E. Bukod dito, noong 2023, 3 beses pang nag-withdraw ang OVP ng TIG 125 million na may kabuang halaga na 375 million. That's paragraphs 55 to 57. Noong 2024, muling napansin ng COA ang kakulangan sa dokumentasyon, paragraph 58. Sa House investigation po, before the House Committee on Good Government and Accountability, lumitaw ang mga resibong pirmado ng mga pangalang nakakaduda. Milky Sequia, Kokoy Villamin, Mary Grace Piatos, at marami pa, na may inconsistencies as hindi matukoy na identity, may ilang pangalan na walang PSA records, may mga resibo na hindi mabasa, walang petsa, o nagpapakita ng mahigit 100 disbursements sa isang araw, kabilang ang mga resibong nakapetsa sa panahong wala pa ang pondo. That's paragraphs 61 to 69. What began as a 125 million confidential fund release evolved into repeated cash withdrawals, unsupported liquidations, audit findings, and disallowances. Hindi po ito isolated incident. The allegations describe a continuing pattern of disbursement without verifiable documentation, raising questions on accountability in the use of confidential public funds. These are pleaded facts of documentary irregularities and simulated liquidation. Madam Chair, these allegations, specific amounts, specific control, specific certifications, specific COA actions, spurious receipts, fictitious identities, continuing disallowances, and obstruction are ultimate facts. Kung ipagpapalagay na totoo, yung mga alegasyon na pong yan, they constitute culpable violation of plunder through malversation, technical malversation, graft and corruption, other high crimes, and betrayal of public trust. With the permission of this honorable committee, itatay up ko na po sa specific grounds yung mga ultimate facts o yung mga essential factual averments. Culpable violation of the Constitution. So, a culpable violation is not a mere technical breach. Ito ay sinasadya at mulat na pagsasawalang bahala sa tungkuling konstitusyonal. Inaasahan sa mga opisyal na maging tapat sa tungkulin at sumunod sa batas. The complaint pleads ultimate facts, as I said, of custody, control, and affirmative acts. Paragraphs 149, 151, and 153 further allege that VP Sara was the accountable officer for over 500 million pesos and that no disbursement could occur without her approval. Paragraphs 154 to 155 allege she directed the preparation, encashment, and delivery of 125 million. These are not passive omissions. These are affirmative exercises of authority. The complaint further alleges repeated COA audit findings, a notice of suspension and disallowance, backdated acknowledgement receipts, and non-existent signatories, and alleged interference with congressional inquiry. Taken together, control, approval, audit red flags, simulated documentation, and alleged obstruction, these pleaded facts, if admitted as true, constitute a willful breach of constitutional fiduciary duty. Graft and corruption. Kung ipagpapalagay na totoo ang mga alegasyon, pumapasok ito sa Section 3E ng RA 3019. Ang pag-encash at pag-disburse ng 125 million sa opisyal na kapasidad, kasabay ng backdated receipts, fictitious names, at paulit-ulit na COA findings ay nagpapakita ng evident bad faith. At dahil may hindi bababa sa 73 million na may notice of disallowance, malinaw na may undue injury to the government. Ang ganitong pattern ng unsupported disbursement ay sapat upang bumuo ng graft and corruption. Other high crimes. Alam niyo po, ang other high crimes, just like betrayal of public trust, more encompassing because these are not confined, high crimes are not confined to technical penal definitions. They encompass serious misconduct that fundamentally undermines constitutional governance, including any act, omission, or course of conduct that renders a public official unworthy to remain in office. Kabilang dito ang mga gawain o asal ng mga opisyal na maaaring maging pamantayan para tanggalin sa katungkulan ang maling paggamit ng confidential funds, simulated liquidation, at paghadlang sa mga mekanismo ng oversight ay tuwirang nagpapapurol sa mekanismo ng pananagutan ng mga institusyon. If admitted as true, such conduct erodes confidence in high office and disrupts the faithful execution of the laws, which makes the VP unworthy to remain in office, that rises to the level of other high crimes. Betrayal of public trust does not require penal conviction. It asks whether the alleged conduct renders the official unworthy of the trust reposed in the office. Confidential funds operate largely on institutional trust. Kung ang 500 million ay inilabas ng cash, may questionableng dokumentasyon, paulit-ulit na na-flag ng COA at sinundan pa ng umano'y pakikialam sa oversight, kung ipagpapalagay na totoo ang mga ito ay malinaw na pagtataksil sa tiwala ng bayan. That is not an administrative lapse. That is gross faithlessness in the stewardship of public funds.
Any other member who wish to manifest on
Madam-
the first ground? The Honorable
Madam Chair.
Marcoleta.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madalas pong binabanggit yung notices of disallowance and audit observation memo. Para po sa akin, ito po ay mababaw na ground to constitute an impeachable offense. Unang-una po, ang notices of disallowance ay appealable, they are contestable. Yung pong audit observation memo is just a memo issued by the COA for deficiencies in documentation not involving pecuniary loss. Ang notices of disallowance po ay pwede pang i-appeal ng Office of the Vice President sa regional level ng COA, sa commission proper ng COA, at pwede pang humantong sa Supreme Court. The notices of disallowance does not presuppose guilt on the part of the Vice President. It is not tantamount to a prosecution. Kaya wag po natin itong gamitin, itong mga dokumento na ito, as if meron ng ginawang kamalian ang ating Vice Presidente. Dahil dito po pumapasok yung procedural due process kung ito pa'y accorded sa ating Vice Presidente. At isa pa po, yung pong mga ginawa ng Quadcom nung nakaraang taon, yung pong pagbubukas ng mga envelope, I don't think yan po ay kasama sa trabaho ng Kongreso. Dahil ang pag-audit po ay trabaho ng COA. Meron po tayong Latin legal maxim, potestas delegata non delegari. Delegated
The
power should
Honorable
not be
Marcoleta
delegated
is
further.
reminded to confine the manifestation to the subject matter of the impeachment
Opo,
proceeding.
this is pertaining to the...
This is not
the
about
envelope.
Quadcom. This is the impeachment proceeding on the two complaints against the Vice President. Please stick to the subject matter of this impeachment proceeding.
But the envelope, yung opening of the envelopes, hindi po ba may
If
kinalaman
you have
ito?
concerns about the proceedings of Quadcom, perhaps you should address it in the other forums, but not in the impeachment proceedings. The Honorable Marcoleta is so reminded
Opo,
to stick to the subject matter.
yun lang naman po, Madam Chair, notices of disallowance. Ito po ay hindi mga dokumento lamang na ito ay appealable, contestable, at hindi ito nangangahulugan ng Vice Presidente ay may ginawa ng irregular dahil ito ay contestable. Yun lamang po ang aking obserbasyon. At ma'am, if I may react dun sa earlier remark made by the chair, I think I was alluded to. Kasi nagkaroon po ng spectacle
The
kahapon.
chair just adopted the manifestation of the Honorable Marcoleta yesterday during our determination of form.
Opo, yung pong I am speaking out of premonition. Actually, I'm not speaking out of mere premonition. I was speaking out of experience.
But that's
Opo.
what the committee heard. Nevertheless, Honorable Marcoleta, this is likewise not a subject matter of this impeachment proceeding.
Opo, winawarningan ko lang po ang audience na to observe proper decorum. Wala naman po sigurong masama doon, Madam Chair, di po ba?
But of course, for as long as the public are not committing any offense inside this committee hearing, then there is no basis at all to call their attention or to even mention their name.
Okay, ma'am, pero nagkaroon po ng president kasi sa Senado. Salamat po.
Any other member who wish to manifest on the first ground of impeachment of the third impeachment complaint? The Honorable Suntay?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, sa ating mga kasamahan dito sa komite, bago tayo pumasok sa substance ng complaint number 3, mahalagang balikan muna natin ang tungkulin natin sa ilalim ng rules of impeachment. Ang mandato ng committee ito ay simple, ngunit mabigat. Tiyakin na ang bawat impeachment complaint na dinala sa kapulungan ay pumasa sa pamantayan ng batas. Kaya ang panawagan ko sa bawat miyembro ay pairali natin ang parehong antas ng pagsusuri na inaasahan sa anumang legal proceedings. Maingat, patas at walang kinikilingan. Ang tanong sa harap natin ngayon ay hindi kung political controversy, kundi kung ang complaint ba ay naglalaman ng ultimate facts na kung ipagpapalagay na totoo ay bumubuo ng impeachable offense sa ilalim ng Rule 3, Section 5. Mahalaga rin tandaan natin na meron na tayong established standards ang committee ito. Dahil ng ilang linggo lang na nakaraan, dumaan rin sa committee na ito yung impeachment complaint laban sa Pangulong Marcos. Mula sa mga naunang disposisyon ng impeachment complaints, malinaw na sinabi ng komite na ito na hindi sapat ang mga aligasyon na nakaantabay lamang sa administrative process, audit observation, o konklusyon na walang malinaw na factual particulars tulad ng unlawful acts, personal participation, o personal gain. Sa parehong pamantayan na iyon, dapat natin suriin ang complaint 3 and 4. Kung ang mga aligasyon ba ay tunay na naglalatag ng impeachable offense o kung ang mga ito ay naglalarawan lamang ng mga pangyayaring hindi pa naman napapatunayan na illegal na gawain. Ang diskusyon na ito na nais kong buksan ay nakatuon dito sa pamantayan na ito. Now, dadako na ako sa aligasyon. On complaint 3, naisaad na on August 22,
If I may interrupt, Honorable Suntay, we are deliberating on a per ground basis.
Yes.
We are only on the first ground.
I'm on the first ground, Madam
Thank you.
Chair. It was just an opening statement. On August 22, 2022, as alleged, VP Sara requested an additional amount of 250 million for confidential funds, as was stated by the Honorable Congresswoman Laila De Lima. The allegation establishes only that the respondent requested confidential funds. Requesting funds is part of the budget execution process and is not illegal per se. The complaint does not allege that the request violated any law or constitutional prohibition. Thus, no impeachable offense was pleaded. On paragraph 24, it stated, only 125 million was approved for release for the office. But the signing alone constitute an impeachable offense? Signing of a disbursement voucher is a ministerial or administrative act necessary for fund release. The complaint does not allege that the voucher was falsified or illegal. Therefore, the paragraph does not plead any unlawful overt act. On paragraph 27, the cash was placed into 4 traveling bags. VP Sara was, as alleged, even assuming that the instructions was given, the allegation describes operational handling of confidential funds. Dahil ang disbursement ng confidential funds, hindi naman cheque ang ini-issue sa mga confidential agent. Naturally, you would need cash to disburse for to be distributed. At 4 p.m., as alleged on paragraph 28, December 20, Acosta gave, ito yung tungkol sa handling raw ng funds, Colonel La Chica gave the full amount of 125 million. The paragraph describes a transfer between subordinates. No allegations is made that the respondent received the funds or personally benefited, which is very important, yung personal benefit. Handling of funds, the distribution should benefit someone. We are trying to impeach the Vice President. Does this distribution of money, of the confidential funds, ultimately benefited the Vice President? I read through all the entirety of the complaint, and there is no specific allegation that the money was indeed, that the money indeed went to the Vice President. On paragraph 37, using her subordinates and the VPSG, this is a conclusory allegation unsupported by factual details. The complaint does not specify the amount allegedly taken, the benefit obtained, the assets acquired. Under Rule 3, Section 5, conclusions do not constitute ultimate facts. The complaint further alleges that the Vice President disbursed the amount in 11 days. You know, we have to take note. The request from the Office of the Vice President was made on August 20, 2022. The funds were approved by the President and downloaded to the Office of the Vice President on December 20. 11 days before the end of the calendar year. So, but the question is, does rapid disbursement alone constitute an impeachable offense? Does it establish illegality? Confidential funds may be disbursed quickly due to operational requirements. The complaint fails to show the unlawful diversion. Saan ba ginamit yung confidential funds? COA issued, it is true that COA issued its first audit observation memorandum. But an audit observation memorandum is a preliminary audit finding, requesting clarification. It does not establish liability nor show that respondents personally falsified documents. It was also alleged that COA issued a notice of disallowance on August 8, 2024 for items totaling 73 million. But a notice of disallowance establishes potential administrative liability subject to appeal. It does not automatically establish criminal conduct or an impeachable offense. Now, ang kailangan natin malaman, is there a final audit observation issued by the COA? O wala? Because I was going through the complaint, there was no mention of a final audit observation. If there was, then it was not contained in the complaint. So, Madam Chairman, with regards to the first allegation, on my part, these are my observations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Since I observe that we are beginning to become passionately engaged in our deliberation, I am reminding the justice members to limit the manifestation into 5 minutes. And the committee secretariat are requested to be observant on the allowable time given to each member.